Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine walking into a room and being instantly captivated by a piece of art that's not on the wall but actually underfoot. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the truly remarkable world of Persian and Oriental carpets, and we're focusing on the absolute creme de la creme, the masterpieces from Isfahan.
Indeed. We've gathered some truly fascinating sources today, everything from the detailed expertise of a long-standing family business to rich historical accounts and really intricate descriptions of craftsmanship. Our mission really is to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge from all this material. We want to give you a shortcut, a way to understand why these aren't just floor coverings. They're profound pieces of history, exquisite art, and even, yes, astute investments.
Get ready for some surprising facts, I think, and some genuinely inspiring stories behind these woven wonders, and maybe some insights that will forever change how you view a carpet. So to ground our deep dive, let's start with a real-world connection, something that brings this whole idea of craftsmanship to life. Our sources introduce us to this fascinating family behind Babak's Oriental carpets. We have Dr. Hushan Rizwani and his son, Babak Rizwani. And reading about them, it's clear this isn't just a business. It's a meticulously built legacy, spanning generations, even continents, right?
Exactly. What's truly fascinating here is the sheer depth of knowledge and how it's been transferred across generations. Dr. Hushan Rizwani, he didn't just, fall into this. He carefully built an honorable reputation over 35 years. And initially in Graz, Austria. Think about that. A place with a deep appreciation for fine arts, for craftsmanship. That deep European root, it really speaks volumes about the dedication involved, the level of understanding. Then he brought all that extensive knowledge, that experience, over to Victoria, Vancouver, extending this high-quality specialty business. It's quite a testament, really.
And his son, Babak, he's the one running the store now in Victoria on Fort Street. The source says he's been around the carpet business his entire life. Just imagine that for a moment, growing up surrounded by these incredible historic pieces, breathing it all in from childhood. You can't learn that from a book, can you? It explains why he has such vast knowledge of most carpets from around the world.
Yeah.
Though his specialties is particularly those from Persia. He's really grown up in the warp and weft, so to speak.
Yeah, and that raises a really important point. What does that mean for you, the person interested in these carpets? Having access to someone with that lifelong immersion. Well, it translates into this unique ability, not just to sell something, but to genuinely educate, to guide you. Babak is always pleased to share his knowledge. And this isn't just casual chat. He gets into the critical stuff, the historical significance, tracing their lineage. He explains the hand-knotting techniques, how each knot builds the masterpiece. And crucially, the investment value, why these pieces can actually appreciate. And, the overall quality markers that set apart a truly great Persian carpet. So for a learner like you, it's more than just buying something. It's a chance to get real deep insight from someone who's lived this their whole life. It builds trust, doesn't it? Turns a purchase into, well, an informed investment in art and history.
Okay, so it's definitely not just about picking a nice rug and taking it home. It sounds like businesses like this are more like guardians of these pieces, offering a whole support system. What kind of services do they offer that really makes them more than just a retailer?
That's a critical point, exactly. The range of services they offer isn't just about convenience. It tells you something fundamental about these carpets. They're not just commodities. They're assets, heirlooms, works of art that need, well, a whole ecosystem of care and valuation. This support system really transforms a purchase into a long-term thing. Let's break it down. First, there's preservation. Things like professional carpet cleaning and expert repair. Essential. These aren't machine-made rugs you toss out. They're meant to last generations. But they need specialized care, right? Proper cleaning keeps them vibrant, stops dirt from grinding down the fibers, and expert repair. It can fix wear and tear, keep an antique piece valuable, not just deteriorating.
Right, you want to be able to pass it down.
Exactly. And tied to that is their appraisal service, absolutely critical for understanding the true market value, especially for older pieces or investment ones. An expert appraisal gives you peace of mind, helps with insurance, estates. It recognizes them as real assets. Second, they foster market liquidity and trust. Look at their trade-in and purchasing counter. That speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It shows they have lasting value.
Precisely. They're not disposable. You can trade up, change your style, or even sell it back, realizing its value. It shows a good Persian carpet can hold its value, maybe even grow. And then there are the information sheets on all carpets. That's about transparency. Knowing the origin, materials, not count, history. It empowers you as a buyer.
Yeah. Makes it more than just a pattern.
Definitely. Turns it into an investment in culture, in art. Finally, there's the customer experience. Things like free delivery, which is just practical for big items. But maybe the most remarkable thing is the trials at no obligation.
Wait, they let you take it home first?
Yes, it's extraordinary. Think how important that is for such a major decision, aesthetically and financially. Seeing it in your light with your furniture, it removes the guesswork.
Wow. That's real confidence in the product.
It is. And underlying all this is the knowledgeable staff, people who genuinely understand these pieces. So you get tailored advice, support. It's more like a partnership.
That really paints a picture, doesn't it? This deep appreciation, this whole support system. It hints at a rich legacy. Which makes me wonder, what is it about Isfahan? Why is that name synonymous with the absolute best? Where does this incredible lineage really start?
Well, it's fascinating. The roots of weaving in that whole region go back, way back, millennia. Archaeology keeps finding older evidence, but for Isfahan specifically hitting its stride, becoming the legendary center for rug weaving, we really need to look at the Safavid Dynasty. That's 1501 to 1736 AD. During that long, culturally rich period, Isfahan wasn't just a weaving center. It strategically became a prominent, celebrated hub for this art form, known for quality, design, innovation.
Okay, the Safavid Dynasty. And our sources keep bringing up one name, Shah Abbasi, in relation to this golden age. What was his role exactly? Was he just a fan, or did he actively shape the industry?
Oh, he was far more than just a fan. Shah Abbas III's patronage was, well, absolutely monumental, a huge turning point. He reigned from 1588 to 1629, a true visionary king. He understood the power of art to enhance his empire's glory. He even moved the capital to Isfahan.
Ah, okay.
And he launched this ambitious artistic and architectural renaissance there. His direct support for the arts, including state-sponsored rug weaving, it wasn't just encouragement, it engineered the golden age. He set up royal workshops, brought in the best designers, the best weavers from all over, gave them the best materials, fostered creativity, technical excellence.
So serious investment.
Huge investment. Royal backing provided the resources, the demand, the prestige needed for artisans to create these incredibly beautiful, intricate, technically perfect designs. It elevated the craft from, a regional trade to an internationally revered art form appreciated across Persia and beyond. His actions really show how powerful rulers can fuel artistic flourishing, pushing craftsmanship to its absolute peak. He basically made Isfahan the city of art. Hashtag Tag 2.2, a history of decline and remarkable revival.
So a golden age born from this incredible patronage. You'd think that momentum would just keep going, wouldn't you? But art industries, they can be fragile. Did Isfahan face challenges after Shah Abbas? Did it decline?
You're absolutely right. Artistic flourishing, especially one tied so closely to royalty and stability, is rarely smooth sailing. The sources show a major and quite abrupt period of decline. Production was almost completely halted after the Afghan invasion in 1722.
Wow, halted.
Almost completely. Imagine the catastrophe for a thriving art industry. It shattered everything. Supply chains, workshops, dispersed the artisans, wiped out the royal patronage. It was a devastating blow, crippling the industry. And it didn't recover for a long, long time. A real dark age for Isfahan carpets. A huge gap in production.
That's a massive gap. So when did it finally come back? What sparked the revival after so long?
It wasn't until the very beginning of the 20th century that the industry really got reestablished. A long, slow climb back. Testament to the craft's memory, the people's resilience. Some early pieces from that renewal, early 1900s. Incredibly rare now, highly valued. And even then, they had astonishing knot densities. 500,000 to 1 million knots per square meter.
Straight back to high quality.
Right. Showing that commitment despite the long break. But what's really fascinating and shows incredible adaptability is how global events influenced the revival. World War I brought huge changes. Before the war, Isfahan was actually big in Iran's fashion industry. Fine fabrics.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But after the war, global fashion trends shifted dramatically. Isfahan lost that lucrative fabric business. Could have been another disaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead, shrewd businessmen in Isfahan saw an opportunity, a pivot. They looked at the fine quality wool they were already using for fabrics and cloaks, the abbas. They had the skills, the materials, so they leveraged it. They redirected everything into making high quality Persian rugs.
Oh.
Incredibly clever and commercially savvy. It successfully reestablished Isfahan, not just as a carpet center, but as a base for some of Iran's finest, echoing its old glory, but on a new foundation. It's a remarkable story of resilience, turning crisis into resurgence while sticking to those high standards.
That is an incredible story of adaptation. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty now. What actually makes an Isfahan carpet earn that creme de la creme reputation? What are they made of?
Yeah.
How are they put together? What's the secret sauce?
Right. The foundation is absolutely key. It comes down to meticulous material choice and precise construction. They're typically woven on vertical looms. These upright looms allow for large, intricate pieces with really high consistent tension. And that tension is crucial for hitting those super high knot densities we'll talk about. Keeps the weave tight, compact, durable.
Okay, vertical looms.
Then the structure itself, the warp threads running lengthwise and the weft threads woven across to lock the knots in place. That's usually made of cotton.
Cotton. Why cotton?
Cotton's great for the foundation. It's stable, doesn't stretch much, so it holds millions of knots without distorting. It's durable, available, and gives a clean base. But the part you see and feel with the design, that's where the magic happens. That's crafted from exceptionally high-quality wool and silk.
Oh, wool and silk.
And not just any wool. Often it's cork wool. That's the term in Iran for the finest, softest lamb's wool. Think, from the neck or belly, super soft, great luster, really pliable. And this fine cork wool, combined with the fact that the pile is usually clipped quite low.
Low pile.
Yeah, quite short. That low pile is key for the incredible clarity and precision of the designs. Every tiny knot stands out like pixels in high res. Really contributes to the artistry.
And you mentioned silk, too. Silk in a rug.
Yeah.
That sounds incredibly luxurious, almost decadent. What does the silk actually do beyond just feeling nice? Is it just for show?
Oh, it's much more than just luxurious texture, though it definitely has that. Silk is strategically used, the sources say, to heighten their visual effect, bestowing a mesmerizing glow on them. Exactly. Imagine walking past and the light catches it. The colors and patterns subtly shift and shimmer. Silk has this natural luster that catches light dynamically in a way wool just can't. It adds depth, dimension, and almost living quality to the design. Makes it feel alive.
Wow.
So this combination, durable cotton base, super fine cork wool pile, and that lustrous silk woven in, that's what contributes so much to their quality, their visual appeal, their prestige. It's a deliberate artistic choice, not just opulence for its own sake. Hashtag tag 3.2, the signature knot, an unrivaled knot density.
Okay, so the materials are top-notch. Now, when we talk about hand-knotted, which is such a core part of their mystique, what does that actually mean for an Isfahan rug? Is there a specific technique they use that sets them apart?
Yes, absolutely. A fundamental hallmark and key to their detailed designs is the specific knot they use. Isfahan carpets mostly use the asymmetrical knotting technique. You might hear it called the Persian knot, or more specifically, the Senna knot.
Senna knot, okay.
This knot is favored because it allows for a much tighter, more compact weave compared to the symmetrical or Turkish knot. Each tiny knot is tied by hand around 2 warp threads. This individual tying lets the weavers get incredibly precise, rendering those extremely intricate detail patterns. It's basically the technical backbone that allows for their complex artistry.
And not density.
Yeah.
You mentioned it earlier. Sounds like the rug equivalent of thread count in sheets, maybe.
Yeah.
How does Isfahan stack up? Are the numbers really that impressive, and what does it mean for the carpet itself?
You've nailed it. Knot density is a huge indicator of quality. It reflects immense labor, skill, precision, and Isfahan carpets. They're renowned for exceptionally high densities, typically over 600,000 knots per square meter.
600,000.
Per square meter. Just try to picture that. Tying over 500,000 tiny knots by hand in that space, it's like poos. Like painting with millions of microscopic pixels, each one placed individually. It takes teams of weavers, months, sometimes years for one large carpet. Painstaking work. But wait, it gets even more impressive. Some master workshops in Isfahan, like the famous Seraphian, they've pushed it even further. Our sources say they've made pieces reaching up to 1 million Persian knots per square meter.
1 million.
Sometimes even more. It's just extraordinary dedication, precision, skill, and this density. It directly impacts the carpet. It gives incredible clarity and sharpness to the designs. Every line, every curve is perfectly defined. It makes them incredibly durable, too. That tight weave lasts generations.
And ultimately, it boosts the artistic value, making complex scenes possible, and the financial value.
This level of detail, the materials, the knots, it suggests the designs aren't just random patterns, right? They must come from somewhere deep. Where do Isfahan's weavers find their inspiration? What stories are they telling? You're absolutely right, and what's fascinating is how directly the city of Isfahan itself inspires the designs. It's not just where they're made. The city's essence, its architecture, its culture, its spirit is literally woven in. Isfahan's rich architectural history is a constant muse. Designers draw inspiration from iconic mosques like Sheikh-Lotfollah
Ah, yes, the famous dome.
Exactly, with its incredible tile work. And the grand Jameh-Abbasi Mosque. They look at palaces like Ali-Qapu with its terrace and Chehel-Sotun with its frescoes and columns reflecting in the pool.
The 40 columns palace.
That's the one. Even historic bridges like Si-o-Se Pol and Pol-e-Khaju, their arches, the flow, it all feeds into the designs. It's almost like they're weaving the city's soul, its history, its beauty right into the carpet. The sources say the Nodders never run out of ideas because their surroundings are just so rich with art. It really is a city of art.
So these patterns are literally echoes of the city's beauty, not just abstract. That's powerful. A rug containing the spirit of a place.
Precisely. And it goes beyond just architecture. Isfahan designers are also deeply inspired by Persia's rich cultural and intellectual heritage. Think of the great poets, Rumi, Hafez, Attar, their mystical themes, their imagery.
Poetry in the patterns.
Subtly, yes. References to gardens, nightingales, roses, the journey of the soul. It gets translated into the visual language. The natural world is huge, too. Delicate flowers, birds like nightingales and peacocks, majestic tree-of-life motifs, flowing water. And then there are the deep religious and spiritual undertones ingrained in Persian culture. Elements representing paradise gardens, divine symmetry, patterns for contemplation. It ensures every design carries layers of meaning, aesthetic, cultural, historical, even spiritual. Each carpet becomes a narrative and thread, a testament to that enduring artistic flair.
With all those influences, are there specific patterns that really shout Isfahan? Things we should look out for that are instantly recognizable?
Yes, definitely. There are several iconic compositions that are signatures of Isfahan. By far the most popular, the archetype, is the central medallion. And interestingly, this design is directly derived from the dome of that famous Sheikh-Lotfollah mosque in Isfahan.
Ah, back to the architecture.
Exactly. The medallion is usually large, incredibly detailed, the undeniable focal point,
Cool.
radiating outwards. And it's almost always set against this elegant field, which isn't empty. It's filled with intricate details, usually swirling vine palmettes, delicate floral motifs, all flowing harmoniously. And the colors are often distinct, too. Rich reds, deep blues, vibrant indigo, set against a contrasting ivory or cream background. Makes the details just pop.
Creates that striking effect.
It really does. Highlights the complexity, the detail. Quintessential Isfahan.
Okay, the central medallion is key. Are there other common designs or motifs we might see in an equally amazing Isfahan rug?
Absolutely. While the medallion is dominant, they have a rich repertoire. You'll see sophisticated all-over Shah Abbasi patterns. That's a continuous, repeating floral motif, often without one single center point. Creates this endless feel. The vase pattern is another classic. Often shows ornate vases overflowing with flowers, maybe some animals, symbolizing abundance, paradise.
Like a still life, almost.
Kind of, yeah. Then there's the revered tree of life pattern, symbolizing growth, wisdom, immortality, usually a single stylized tree reaching upwards, and various pictorial schemes. These can show anything dynamic, hunting scenes, serene court life, stories from mythology or poetry. Really showcases the weaver's skill.
Wow, actual scenes.
Yes. And beyond those overall patterns, look for common elements. Exquisite, botanically accurate flowers, those hunting scenes, and always intricate multi-layered borders framing the whole thing. Often the borders echo themes from the main field. Central medallions with beautiful corner patterns are also very common, creating balance. These specific patterns, plus the knot density and luxury materials, that's what makes an Isfahan instantly recognizable, a piece of exceptional heritage.
That's a fantastic breakdown of their visual language. Really helps understand the beauty. Now, you touched on this earlier. How have Isfahan aesthetics changed over time? Do modern ones look totally different from those Golden Age pieces, or is it more subtle?
Well, our sources describe it as radically different, actually. There's a significant visual shift. Carpets made during the Pahlavi Dynasty, so 20th century, and later under the Islamic Republic. They look quite distinct from the 16th, 17th, 18th century ones, those older antique pieces. They tend to use a much richer, deeper, more varied palette, more vibrant, more colorful, richer tones, capturing that opulent, jewel-toned, classical Persian look, often using natural dyes that age beautifully.
So bolder colors back then.
Definitely bolder. Our sources even note they're richer in tone than rugs from nearby Nain, which tend to be a bit more restrained. The old ones feel very much of their time.
Okay, so if the old ones are rich and bold, what defines the contemporary Isfahans? How have they adapted? What would you notice comparing them side by side?
In contemporary pieces, the palette has become, well, more pastel. Not that they lack beauty, but the colors are softer, more muted in intensity. And there's also this greater emphasis on technical perfection, on precision. Sometimes, the sources suggest, that's prioritized over maybe a more artistic or spontaneous flair you might see in older pieces. Flawless execution is paramount.
Interesting trade-off, maybe.
Perhaps. And this subduing of the palette, especially getting rid of strong reds, it seems like a deliberate choice. It makes them more compatible with Western decorative schemes.
Ah, market adaptation again.
Exactly. Modern Western interiors often favor softer tones, right? Less ornate, more integrated looks. These contemporary Isfahans fit that perfectly. They blend into minimalist or transitional styles beautifully. So both classical and contemporary Isfahans are considered extremely attractive, incredibly high quality. But they definitely cater to different tastes.
Yeah.
Knowing that evolution helps you choose what fits your preference, historical vibrancy, or contemporary elegance.
That brings us to a really practical point. All this history, craftsmanship, materials, labor, clearly these things have immense value. But beyond just being beautiful, how does that translate financially? Are Isfahan carpets truly an investment?
It's a really important question for anyone thinking of acquiring one.
Right.
What makes Isfahans a lot more expensive than many other Oriental rugs isn't just the design or color. Our sources really emphasize what they call the silk culture that evolves around them.
The silk culture.
Yeah, meaning that strategic, often extensive use of silk in the pile alongside the wool, not just tiny highlights, but significant parts of the design. And that silk used to heighten their visual effect and give that mesmerizing glow, well, that unique luster and softness, plus the skill needed to weave it so finely, it drives up the cost, both materials and the intense labor.
Okay, so luxury materials and painstaking labor make them costly. But the investment potential, do they actually hold or increase value, like fine art?
Yes, definitely. Our sources state very clearly, a fine quality Isfahan is considered to be an assured investment. This isn't just hype. It reflects their status in the global art and collectibles market, especially pieces that excel in age, condition, provenance, artistry, not density. These aren't assets that depreciate like a car. They have real potential to maintain or increase value over time.
A tangible asset.
Exactly. A way to diversify beyond just stocks or real estate. And to give you a concrete idea of the price range, which really underscores this investment status, larger carpets, say 10 by 6 feet, might start around $15,000, and they can go up to 12 by 8 feet for $30,000 and even higher.
Wow, significant figures.
They are. It reflects their enduring value, that incredibly labor-intensive production, and their status as true artistic and historical assets. People buy them appreciating both the beauty and the lasting worth, often intending to pass them down. True heirlooms.
Okay, this next bit is really interesting. Our sources mention Isfahan carpets were incorrectly known as Polish rugs in Europe. That seems completely wrong. What's the story there? How did that happen?
Isn't that fascinating? It's a perfect example of how trade routes and just, commercial shorthand can mess with history. So these amazing Persian carpets became super fashionable in Europe, especially with French aristocracy, 17th, 18th centuries. And in Europe, they were known as à la polonaise, in the Polish style, or just Polish rugs.
But nothing to do with Poland.
Nothing at all. Not made there, no Polish design influence, not even mainly for the Polish market. The reason was purely logistics, a quirk of geography and trade. The main route for getting these carpets from Persia to their big market in France and Western Europe, it literally ran through Poland.
Oh, the trade route.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Polish merchants, maybe diplomats, were key middlemen in this trade. So instead of being named after a faraway Isfahan, they got named after a major stop on the way to the customer. It just shows their appeal was so widespread, but the name got stuck based on the journey. A historical misnomer that lasted for ages. Reminds us how history gets shaped by odd details. Hashtag 4.4 master workshops and enduring quality.
That is a great historical footnote. Okay, finally, are there specific workshops or master weavers whose names are just synonymous with the absolute best Isfahan carpets? Names you might look for if you were collecting.
Absolutely. When you talk about the absolute pinnacle, one name really stands out. Serafian. The Serafian workshop is easily the most famous, the most renowned in Isfahan, a true dynasty of master weavers generations old. They're celebrated worldwide for exceptional quality, artistic innovation, and for consistently hitting those incredibly high knot counts, often exceeding even that 1 million knots per square meter mark we talked about.
Pushing the boundaries.
Constantly. Their pieces achieve an astonishing level of detail, clarity, durability. They're like miniature textile marvels, often end up in museums or as priceless heirlooms.
Serafian, got it.
And while Serafian is top dog in Isfahan, the mention of other masters like Habibian is associated more with Nain rugs. Nain is very close to Isfahan, also known for exquisite fine weaving. Mentioning names like that highlights this deep tradition of skilled artisans throughout the region, people who dedicate their whole life to perfecting this craft, often passing it down through families. They're the guardians of ancient techniques, but also innovators. It's their tireless dedication, thousands of hours per carpet, that maintains Isfahan's reputation as home to the world's finest. Hashtag tag outro.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive that was. We've covered centuries of history, from royal patronage kicking off a golden age to the meticulous craftsmanship, the materials, and even those savvy business moves that revive the art form after decline. We've seen how families dedicate generations to this, how every knot tells a story.
We really have. We've seen an Isfahan carpet isn't just, something pretty for the floor. It's a woven narrative. Culture, artistry, resilience, all in one. It's a testament to human skill, vision, adaptability. And beyond the beauty and history, it's a real tangible investment, something that can be cared for, passed down, growing richer in story and maybe value over time, a true heirloom.
So what does this all mean for you, listening? Well, maybe the next time you see an exquisite rug in a gallery, a home, anywhere, you won't just see a beautiful pattern. You'll see the echoes of ancient Isfahan. You'll appreciate the dedication of those master weavers, the ingenuity through history, the enduring legacy of a truly global art form. You'll see more than a floor covering. You'll see woven history with a story to tell.
And maybe here's a final provocative thought for you to mull over. We talked about how Isfahan designs have continuously adapted towards Western tastes, focusing more on technical perfection. How might that evolution ultimately influence what we even consider artistic flair in traditional carpet weaving in the future? Will this push for market compatibility lead to new kinds of innovation, making the art maybe more global? Or could it subtly lead weavers away from their deep, specific historical roots, transforming the art into something fundamentally different down the line? It's a really fascinating balance, isn't it, between tradition and the realities of the modern market? Something to think about.